as well to our wonderful Google partners who make all of this happen. They are the ones, if you have any questions afterwards, to get with, to reach out to, because they are vested in your success. They know your community like nobody's business, and they can refer and recommend with some solid information so you don't waste your time, energy, and money trying to discover things. So you can lean into that OPE, other people's experience, by reaching out to your amazing Google partners. And if you need me to come back again, they're the ones to also talk to, okay? Because they're the ones who can request me. Let's see. I don't see. Could you get that info? Oh, no, no. Michelle, there was not a Texas Ren Fair person, but there was somebody from the Woodlands. So, when I see the Woodlands, that's the first place I go in my head is the Texas Ren Fair. So nobody here, unless the person from the Woodlands is also that. They have another hat. I'm not aware of it. I just saw it. No, no worries. No worries, Michelle. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. This is who I am. And yes, it's true. I am really right here in the background. Oh, you can see I've been looking at my Zoom and everything under my computer as well, just to make sure that we're not having any issues. I have been on the Google team for 7 years. I do come from small business background. So I started in a business incubator. And because of that, I'm such a fan of OPE, other people's experience, because I know how much that does mean to you and how much value it can bring to you to not have to worry about exhausting yourself on things that may be costly, either time or money wise, or even both. And then also, I have earned the Texas Governor's Excellence in Small Business Award because I do understand the value in measuring your marketing and how important it is to be able to make good business decisions. So today we're going to deep dive into the very beginning of understanding analytics. If you've never worked with your Google Analytics before, don't be scared right now because we'll start very slow, but I'm going to focus very practically on what it is that you need to look at to make some good business decisions. While there's a lot of information in Google Analytics, the thing to remember is there are things that are neat, NEAT, to know, and there are things that you need to know. Since we're butcher, baker, candlestick maker in our small businesses, it's really important that we focus on the need to know, and that way we have enough time to take care of our customers, clients, and also take care of any business. So if you look at the blue link in the middle, that is everything Google that you need for a small business. Take a look at that to see all the resources, and then of course talk to your Google partner that invited you. And then if you want to chat with me, if you want to let me know what you applied that you learned, because I love to see people who take action, and I know small businesses, you take action. So you can connect with me on X, which is at Maria Duron, Duron, or on Instagram at Marketing Coach Maria. And if you tag me, I will definitely retweet, repost, share your story because I do want to get you some visibility too. I believe in the power of networking, as I said at the very beginning. So this is another one way of saying that there are things and data that's neat to know. We know a lot of people who are full of factoids and trivia that don't know how to make a buck. So applying that is what is most important, and what you need to know to be able to make good business decisions is what we're going to focus on today. So I want you to know that your data is giving you a lot of impact and insights, where your customers are from, right? And look at those 4 bullet points. Those are all the things that we need to know as small businesses, because it's on us to be experts on our customer. We have to be able to make that heavy lift and connect the dots of what it is that we have and that they need. And that's on us. And what is so cool with us as small businesses is the fact that we have the ability to be so connected and close touch to our customers. We don't have to form a committee. We don't have to look at a database to figure out who they are. We can reach out, we can ask them questions, which is so vital because we really understand and know the actual customers. Just not a percentage of what they do. We know them. And because of that, because we're small, we can be nimble, where it might take a whole, quarter to come up with a committee and a survey and everything else. Which, by the way, just so you know, I've got some amazing stuff to share about how you can use AI and creating surveys to get zero party data, which zero party data is meaning data directly from your customer. There's nothing more accurate than that. And I'll actually be talking about that, I think, next Tuesday with the SCORE group, and then within our membership. So I'm super excited about it because I just learned how to do it, and I don't teach anything that I just learn. I actually learn, try, and test it at least a dozen times. So I'm really excited to finally be able to talk about this one. All right, let's talk about what we're talking about today. Intro to Google Analytics, understanding your account, because Google Analytics gives you a chance to see how your customers behave. And that's the only way to be an expert on your customer. Telling them what they should do is never right, because we don't should on our customers, right? We never should, that's SHOULD, on anyone. But understanding what they need, that's on us. So understanding our account, how to get around, how to use the Google Analytics search box, how to be able to use reports. And you see that little blurb right there, the fourth bullet about ads. I'll talk about how you can use that from the analytics standpoint. I don't like to talk about paid ads until you've absolutely maxed out everything free. I'm a bootstrap marketer, so I'm about free or small fee. So that's what we need to focus on first, and then we'll talk more about ads, but I'll tell you about the data that you can get from ads. All right. So let's talk about Google Analytics. How many, by a show of ones in the chat box, actually use Google Analytics? And if you don't know what Google Analytics is, while they're answering, it truly does measure how people consume information on your site. If you imagine for a moment that you are a store, so you're an actual physical storefront, and as an actual physical storefront, people are coming in all morning long, and all morning long, you're seeing people go to aisle one or table one and table three, and then they leave table one, table three, and leave. And then all of a sudden in the afternoon, you see people go to table one of your display, table two, table three, and then they purchase. Now you have questions, right? Don't you? I would, as a business owner, I would look at that and say, is it the afternoon people that maybe are more inclined to buy? Is there something on aisle or table two that is helping them make that better decision? Is there something on aisle one or table one that's discouraging them and making them feel like, I'm not too sure? And then what they're looking for is actually on aisle three. So maybe they're checking that in the morning to do a little price comparison and find an actual supplier of that they actually trust. Or is there something in two that really would help them build that trust, that credibility, and that consideration? Okay. So I see a lot of people use Google Analytics here. I'd love to hear how you use it. Let me know in the chat box. In this instance, I always like to give a case study to give practical information. So we're going to be talking about Eva and Ricky. Now, Eva and Ricky have a wonderful fashion store. They know how to do face to face. They've been on Main Street for a while. They know their customers. They know they love fashion. But they didn't understand why some local things, which were just like flying off the shelf, were not at all doing anything online. So they started to use Google Analytics as they moved on to some of their online shopping, because we know that most people will go online first. In fact, 92% of us will go online first before we make a decision. And we don't even walk into a store until we can find it online and know a little bit about the credibility and whether or not this business actually exists or the brands in the local area. We also know that with AI, artificial intelligence in play, that people look at 5 different sources before they even will go to a physical location. So Google Analytics was very important to them. Yes, Candace, you are welcome to record as well if you would like to do that. But do understand you're going to get a recording, a copy of the recording, the transcript, and everything this afternoon. So it's just up to you. I know sometimes it ties up machines and their processing when that happens. So I just want to make sure that you do get a copy. You'll get a nice clean copy and the transcript. So not to worry, but you're welcome to do that. Okay. All right. So Eva and Ricky, one of the first things they needed to do was to be able to put their goals forward. Understand, you cannot even miss your target if you don't know what your target is. So you don't even know what you need to align. You don't know how off you are. So finding your target and your goals is most important. Why I'm spending time talking about this with analytics is because this is where small businesses fail. Number one, with analytics is they don't know what their goals are, and they haven't smart tested each and every one of them. And understand, if you're missing any of the 5 pieces, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive, if you're missing any one, that will throw you off your trajectory. And it's really important for you to be focused, because there's a lot of data in there. I'm a data geek, and I can spend all day in data analytics, and I could help lots of people. But understand, when you're running a business and everything relies on you, you don't have time to fool around with simple factoids and trivia. You've got to get decisions done, and you need to get going and make money, because cash flow is king, right? So as we look at it, are your goals specific? When you say, I want to make more money, well, when you're 99 years old and you get a penny, you've made more money. Is that it? So be specific. Is it in the next month, the quarter? How much does more money look like to you? $100, $1,000,000? What does that mean? Is it measurable? Can you measure that somewhere? So a lot of times people will tell me, Maria, I want to get 100 more followers on TikTok, or I'd like 1,000 more people to view this on Instagram. Well, that's great. What does that mean to you? How does that actually translate to the bottom line? Because there's a lot of things that are shiny objects that people like. There's a lot of vanity metrics that make people feel good but do nothing to your bottom line. But when I hear people who say, Maria, I want to make sure that I get 100 likes on this video, because when I get 100 likes on a video, they go to my bio link about half of the time, 5 out of 10. So 50% go to my bio link. Of those who go to the bio link, then 25% actually sign up for my email newsletter. Now, I know that social media is amazing to have, and all of us utilize different platforms, but I also know it's rented land, that if they shut down, they say something you did was wrong, and they have to go investigate, you can go unpublished for 21 days plus. And during that time, how are you going to get a hold of your clients and customers that you're connected with on all those socials? Well, that was why they were able to say 100 people liking something translates to this many emails. That is definitely relevant to their goal, because they know that when they have email, they have another way to stay connected and in relationship with their customers, clients, or followers. So is it measurable? Is it attainable? All right, last year I made $10,000 and this year I'm going to make $1,000,000. That's great. I love big, hairy, audacious goals, but you have to think about whether or not that's attainable, and only you know. What are you doing differently this year that is something that's not the same as last year? Because doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results from making 10,000 to 1,000,000 is the definition of insanity. So you've got to have some things in play. Is it relevant? Again, I'm giving you the Facebook answer that I just gave you with the video. Is it relevant? In this instance, when they could tell me 100 likes and what that translated to, that is awesome. That lets me know that they are focused and very relevant. And that's a big difference between many people that I hear will say, oh, I just want to make sure that this looks here and this is nice, or the ever cursed one who always wants something just to go viral, right? And that's a long wait to make that happen, if it ever does. And then, is it time bound? Is it in the next week, the next 2 weeks, bi-monthly, bi-weekly? Is it the next quarter, 6 months, end of the year? What is it? All right. So in Eva and Ricky's case, they wanted to make sure that they saw a 10% increase in 3 target cities, very targeted. So they were very focused. They made a city themed design because their local fashions did well. They thought, maybe if we make it to the city, that'll work. They're going to use social and advertising and focus only on those 3 cities, even though they could cover the entire nation, maybe even the world, but they could definitely cover the entire nation. They focus their efforts. That's another second problem that a lot of small businesses run to that's very costly, is they are trying to target anybody, everybody, and somebody, and that usually gets their second cousin, nobody. So this is really critical to keep in mind as well. All right, I see a question here. What if we have a what's the website if we have questions later, please? Oh, okay, you actually get that in the slides. Let me see. I've already lost the slide link I just shared, so you can get a copy of the slides, but you need to get them while we're in session, okay? Because after session, they're going to be gone and they're not going to be accessible to you anymore, but you will get them emailed along with the replay, okay? And that's how to connect with me, okay? But do get with your Google partner. They know how to connect with me too, because they request me to do this, and they are truly there for your success, okay? I hope that answered your question. So for you, what is your goals? What are those goals? All right? If you want to shout them out, love to hear them, but really that's what we're looking at. Looking at your goals and making sure they're smart tested. So you already are going to be in the top 3% of businesses because you actually look at your goals and smart test them. If you have goals, I encourage you after this to make your first action item to be that you're going to smart test all of your goals. So Google Analytics is free. It does connect. Perfect leads. I see that, Donna. Okay, so 1,000 followers on Instagram by the end of the year. All right, that's specific. And it is measurable. We can see it. Is it attainable? I don't know, because I don't know how many followers you have, but you know that, Narya. Let me know though, Narya, how's that relevant? what does that bring to you? What do 1,000 followers translate to your bottom line? Okay, because that's really critical to know that. And we need to do that work, because when we know that work, now we can help lead our leads and our prospects through that and know whether or not we are meeting them through the funnel and giving them what they need in awareness, consideration, conversion, or loyalty, or we'll also be aware of where they are in consumer awareness. Okay. So look at Michelle. She uses it to determine day and time to send out email marketing. Absolutely. You can watch that happen on your Google Analytics. So there was, I think some of you who've ever been credibility, I have 640 right now. Awesome. Okay, credibility, 640. So it builds credibility. And in credibility, so what are some of the ways that you use credibility to translate to business? Okay. And I'm asking again, I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to be thoughtful, because I want to make sure you're making the most use of your time. So, for example, one of the things for me in credibility, one of the things that I do and I use is I build my Google reviews, because I know people go there. And it's really important to have that because they're looking for credibility. Now, if I was a meta gal, or I was really somewhere where there was maybe like a restaurant or a salon where I needed Yelp and I needed to build my reviews there, that might be where I go. But really, for most things local and national, I utilize Google reviews. But the credibility, then what I do is I share all of that information with people by email and also other platforms, because I know not everybody's on one platform. In fact, many of them are just diversified, and some don't do any platforms. So I need to figure out a way to, how can I build and take advantage of that, so it doesn't just make me look good in one platform. All right, so how can I max out all those efforts? Because I'm more about you curating what you do and repurposing that and making it viable to profit than I am about being in one channel. I am about focus. So definitely your focus, Naria, is great. But what are you going to do after that? What are the next steps? I'd love to hear that, just because I think it's a marketing experience and learning moment for everybody, right? Okay. So as we look at Google Analytics, this is free. This does connect to your website. All right. So you do have to have a website. Wix, Squarespace, Shopify are websites. They all connect. In fact, they all, because I know the back end of all of those. I know WooCommerce as well, WordPress, all of those are websites, and they all have the ability and streamline nicely with Google Analytics, because it's a free tool that you can have with your free personal Gmail or free email account that can help you make sure that you are visible and that you understand your actual customers' needs and buyer behavior and the way they flow through your site. So their information needs too, as they're going through their decision journey. So what Google Analytics does is do all of those things that I just said: understand, learn, and make better business decisions. Just like Michelle was talking about here. I was working with a small business that worked with dog owners. His best customers, though, when he looked at analytics and saw where he got majority of his money, like 85% of his money, came from the market of women between the ages of 25 and 44 years old. Now, what he found in looking at his analytics is that they shopped at 2:20 in the morning on their mobile phone. So he didn't even push any of his social, his organic social out, let alone ads, till 2 o'clock in the morning. Not that he couldn't help any business or any dog owner that was a man or a woman. He did not want to miss that best customer, the woman between the ages of 25 to 44 years old, who was college educated, who had at least a couple of small children, worked full time, and shopped at 2:20 in the morning, because that's the person that would be the less friction for him. They would click, 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 and buy all day long. And until he maxed out that market, he wasn't going to show anything to anybody else till after then. Anybody else who happened to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning and he was able to earn their business, that was just gravy. So does Canva connect to Google Analytics like a Canva site? No, that doesn't. Google sites do, but they're limited. So Google sites are free with a free personal Gmail or free Google account. You can actually get a Google site, and they're free. And a lot of people do that so that they'll get an online presence while people are searching and they're busy deciding on what they want to put on their website or what tool they want to use. Okay, but no, it doesn't connect with any of the marketplaces like Canva or any tools like Canva. It doesn't connect with, so you can use Canva to design on your site, but your site is hosted somewhere. So it's the host that it actually connects with in there. And It doesn't connect with eBay or Amazon or Etsy or Poshmark because those are all closed marketplaces. And so they have their own analytics, and Google Analytics, they don't share with Google Analytics. Okay. So, why use Google Analytics? It helps you understand too. While you might think content is amazing, understand your best customer may not, because you might have developed something or created a service because it was a need at the time. But since then, you've had experiential knowledge. The way you speak changes. You know how when we get in an industry, all of a sudden we become very familiar in using industry speak, and that may not be how people are searching and what they're looking for. So it's important for you to know what your customers are doing and for us to be those experts in understanding how they search and what they look for. Google's algorithm is built on three pillars. The number one pillar is relevance, which means how well do you match what people are searching for. So let's say I have an overhead, say that, tried to do too quickly, overhead door company, right? So that's a garage door. So I have an overhead door company. And that's what I put on all of my marketing. We're the best overhead door company in Lawton, Oklahoma. We're the best overhead door company in San Francisco, wherever you're at. We just put that out into everything. But what people are searching for when they say, hey, Google, hey, Alexa, when they type in or they look at AI, is not overhead door. They're looking for my garage. I need something. I need my automatic, my garage door opener doesn't work with my garage. My garage door is not working. My garage door is broken. My garage door is squeaky. Does that match then? No, because overhead door does not match with garage door. They don't match. So now when you might have had the chance, if you were relevant and matched the way and the words people used in search, you might have shown up high in search. You now don't. You are somewhere two or three swipes below, and understand people don't look past the first 10 searches of an organic Google search. And that's why it's so important to be ranked there, to show up there, because people do deem that the people who show up or the businesses that show up there are experts. And it doesn't matter our budget, we want to work with an expert. So understanding what content resonates is important, because now we can create more. We can make that decision to know, oh, you know what? They really do love when I do a blog post with a checklist of the pitfalls as you're making a decision about selecting a company. You know, what to look for, what to ask for. These are the top 5 questions to ask a garage door company. That is what they like. So when I can empower them and make them feel armed to not encounter any pitfalls or money pits, now they see me as a trusted advisor, and people will step over dollars to do business with a trusted advisor, right? So we evaluate which channels also work well. I might be just, I love Instagram. I'm just all over it. I enjoy it all the time. But that doesn't mean that's where my customers are at. My customers happen to be Pinterest customers, especially when I'm working with a lot of e-commerce stores, because Pinterest is a huge driver to Amazon. Drives a lot of traffic over there. And they happen to launch a lot of their new products on Amazon because that's where the eyeballs are at. And then they try to get them from Amazon to come back to get the accessories or to resupply from their site. So because of that, they use Pinterest. Now, I'm not a Pinterest person. Pinterest is a huge time suck for me. So me personally, even though I'm a good customer of theirs, I'm not a Pinterest person. So I'm not the majority. So we need to be able to evaluate which channels work best, because maybe they need to be more on Pinterest instead of Instagram, just because everybody else is, looking at Instagram. It may not be the people who are ready to buy from them. That's so important. Oh, you're very welcome, Michael. Glad you were here. So when you go to analytics, go here to g.co/analytics, that first blue link. If you have a free personal Gmail account, that's all you need. You can get started right away. And if you don't have a Google account, you do not need a Gmail account. You'll just go to google.com/accounts and you're ready to go. On segmentation and keywords, yes, Eric, I will. But again, this session right here is intro to analytics. So I want to make sure we're putting the groundwork together. And because I do know a lot of people, Eric, like to skip ahead and they don't look at their goals. And that's when they will tell me, more often than not, that's where all of their analytics and their problems start happening. But yes, we're going to cover some of that. Okay. All right. Understanding your account. So when you log into your Google Analytics account, this is where you land by default. All of the navigation happens on the left-hand side, just like for any other Google tool. So you will see Home, Reports, Explore, Advertising, and click on each of those and that'll expand. So let me show you what that looks like, okay? I am going to, yep, there we go. I've got to switch screens. So give me just a moment. All right, this is a live demo. So you see those four icons, just like I was showing you on the slide deck. When I click on over here or hover over here, it now opens up and I can click on reports and I can start seeing the reports of what it is that I need to look at. I can look at the real-time report, which is what Michelle was talking about that can happen when you're email marketing or even when you post something on socials. So in real time, this is telling you how many people are coming to your website and what they're looking for. So that's an e-commerce store right here. Let me look at a actual service-based business. So you can look in real time. Okay, right now they've not released anything, so nothing is happening in real time. They don't have any promotions going either, and it's actually something that this is their lull time, and they do know that. So as they look real time, they can see what's happening. For example, when I was working with a business that launches an email campaign, you can actually see as people opened up the campaign as it traveled across time zones. They actually also got featured in the Today Show, all the needed fall needs for school. And you could see as the episode aired across time zones, that's exactly what happened. You could see that happening in real time. So then in real time, you have a chance to see whether or not your marketing is working, if your call to actions actually connect with people. Okay. Can I see how to create account? Oh yeah, how to create an account. Absolutely. Let's bring that up real quick. So what you'll see here is when you land on analytics, I'm going to go real quick to a live demo. I'm going to switch tabs. When you go to analytics, this is where g.co/analytics lands you. So when you sign into analytics, if you're already logged into your actual Google account, so when you're logged into a Google account, which a free personal Gmail account is a Google account, you're going to go ahead and click sign into analytics. And when you do that, it's going to recognize your credentials. So when I click sign into analytics, because I already have a Google account, a free Gmail account, it already took me right immediately here to this page, which is the landing page or the landing dashboard, the summary dashboard for Google Analytics. All right, does that make sense? Did that answer your question, Suha? I just wanted to make sure you had a chance to see that since you're just getting started. What does thresholding apply? I'm not sure I understand the question, Maria. I'm losing context because I was answering the other question. So my mind's there. If you could give me a little bit more context. Yes, let me show you one more time. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to g.co/analytics. This is where you need to go for analytics, right? You're going to click into signed into analytics. Now, if you don't have a Google account, what it's going to do is walk you through that. So I'm going to bring up another browser. Let me bring up another screen, and I'm going to go to a business or to, let me see, a browser where there is no Google account attached to it. Let me go here real quick, and I'll bring that screen up in just a moment. All right, here we go. So we're here in Google Analytics. So when I click sign into analytics, it's going to take you to a Google account. If you don't have a Google account, you need to create the Google account. This does not make a Gmail account because you can have a Google account without having a Gmail account, okay? But you will need to put an email to create that with, any email that you have that you currently access and use, Suha, and then you'll create an account. Now, if you do have a Google account, all right, just like in this instance, I have a Google account. When I sign into analytics, it'll drop me into all the different analytics available. Okay. So that's how you do that. All right. Great question. All right. Let's go to, oops. There we go. So say I lost my screen. There we go. Let's go to the screen now. All right. So here, when we're looking at reports, you can see on that left-hand side, we'll click for reports and we can filter for that. So we can filter different dates and ranges. We can compare last week to this week, last quarter to this quarter, last month to this month. We can do that last year. So we can do that and we can save that date range. So what that looks like here is you are actually going up here to, if you see at that very right bubble, that date range, that's how you can change the dates. The filters, you can actually filter for a lot of different things and add comparisons there as well. Yes, analytics.google.com. Yes, you can get there like that, or you can also go to g.co/analytics. I just like using that one because it's just a little bit easier for me to remember all the g.co different tools there are, because most of the Google tools are with a name g.co that you can get to. But thank you, Eric. So that's how you can go there and customize filters. So let's talk about the standard reports. In real time, we can see what's happening right now. We can test changes. We can look at traffic. Site traffic is just that, the number of eyeballs and people that come to see you. And we can see if we need to actually have that promotion is helping us, or we need to do something for that promotion to help us be able to be seen more visibly. So is it working or is it not working? All right. Now, as we look through if something is working or not, what we're actually seeing right here in real time is the ability to see how many users are on the site, right? So we see that. And then how many are coming from direct? Where are they coming from? Because it's important for us to understand and to know the channels too, okay? So as we look through here, what are some ways that you can utilize your real-time reports? You can release a YouTube video. You can release a video or put a link to any of your social profiles and to be able to look at that to see your actual real-time report. Okay, so you have a chance to see exactly who your audience is, what pages that they're looking at, the actual event name. So did they view a page? Did they look at this for the first time? Is it their second visit back? You can see all of those actively within your Google reports. Okay. Now, acquisition, where do the customers come from? So real time is what I like to use, really focused on an action that just happened. I sent out an email newsletter. I uploaded something where I had a call to action, which is a very strong call to action. Or I put some, we had something like a press release, or as I said, I did a collab with somebody. And so there's a link to my site and a link to their site. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. Acquisition though is all the time. Where are your customers and your clients coming from? So let's take a look at that. Okay. And where did we go? I've lost my, hold on here. I think, there we go. I think Zoom covered up my little mouse there. These Zoom alerts. All right. So let's look at acquisitions, and I'm going to see if I can get into a pretty active account to do that. Hold on just a second. There we go. All right. So let me take you through this. And I'll change screens. There we go. All right, so she's had 6 active users. 1 is active right now. Looking at the site in the last few minutes, she can see the source. It's coming from Google. So that's the first source. Her audiences are also people who are not just for the first time they're visiting their site, they're purchasers, people that have purchased in the last 180 days. These are the pages that they're looking at, right? She's gotten 5 views right now. These are all in real time. And then of course the event, they saw the page, they're actually engaged, so they're clicking, they're looking around, they're viewing, they're reading content, they're watching video, they're looking at an item. They might be scrolling past things, or they could actually be putting things in their cart. This happens to be an e-commerce store. When I look at acquisition, what I like to often do is look at these 2 reports. User acquisition means a user. That means one person. I am a user that's coming to utilize and look at the information on our site, but I could be there 5 to 10 different times. Maybe I go there first on my phone while I'm waiting to pick up my children in the line, in the school line, but then I go to a cafe and I throw it over to a cafe. In my tablet, I actually look at it there. I go to my laptop while I'm also working in a shared working space. And then I go back to my desktop, and then I throw it to my smart TV at the end of the day. Those are several visits, so that's a lot of traffic, 5 to 6 different traffic pieces, but it's one person. So user is the amount of people, traffic is the number of visits to your site. So when I look at traffic acquisition, I can click here and click on traffic acquisition. Let's say we want to look for the last month. So I'm going to bring this here and look for, let's leave that alone there, the last month. So I'm just going to put, so the current month, I should say. I'm going to put it in there to see how it's going. And then I'm going to look at these. These are coming from cross network, which means that it's being shared. Usually in Google Ads is where you see cross network, because Google works with 3,500 different sources where your ad can show up if you do Google Ads. Direct means they know your name. All right, so they know her name of her business. If direct was way low, like down here below the top 10, and I'm going to expand this actually out to a list of 250, so we'll get a little bit more showing here in a moment. It didn't refresh. It might be because I'm actually broadcasting. It might be a little laggy here on my machine. But you'll see if it was lower than 10, then I would be concerned about brand awareness. So direct means they know her name. They are actually searching for that. They are looking for Holiday Whimsy. So they are looking for her name. She's done good brand awareness. If I were making better business decisions for her, I would say, you know what? I would say take your foot off the gas a little bit on your brand awareness, and let's really hone in for conversion, because you've got brand awareness, but we've got to get these people who are on your site actually buying something for it to be something that is increasing your average order value. That's how much they're actually spending in the cart, the lifetime value, how much they spend overall. Okay. Can you see past trends? No, you cannot. Unfortunately, Caroline, you used to be able to do that with classic analytics, but Google Analytics 4 only works from the day you connect it. So once you connect it, that's when you can see things. If you had universal analytics, unfortunately in July, all the data on that went away. You might be in one of those rare regions that Google hasn't deleted that yet, and you can download that information from there. But for the most part, most people don't have that anymore, Caroline. I know that if you had it before, then it's important information to have, but at least start now, right? Start now and connect it to your site. Organic search means that they were looking for ornaments, or they were looking for holiday decor. So they don't know her name. That's not brand awareness. They just are aware that they have an interest, and they're showing them an interest in that particular product or subject. Okay. Paid search, just like it sounds, it could be paid search. This could be Bing. It could be Meta ads, could be TikTok ads, Pinterest ads, and organic social is just that, like it sounds as well. Organic, meaning it came organically from Instagram, a post that you did organically, nothing that you put any ad spend on. So when I click plus here, and I go to traffic source, and then I go to session source medium, you'll see a filter appear. So now it's taking everybody that was cross network, and it's filtering what all that means. What cross network am I talking about? Am I talking about Bing? Am I talking about something else? No. You can see here Google CPC is Google cost per click. So that means those are Google ads, because Google ads are all based on cost per click or call per click. So it is an action based ad platform, and I know that's what that is. Direct means they just came directly. Now, it could be that you have great brand awareness. It also could be many people were on an iOS phone, and they have decided to be out of any analytic tracking. But understand that while that was a problem about a year and a half to 2 years ago, it's not a big problem now, because there's a lot of tracking that happens in the server. It has nothing to do with cookies. It's all tracking in the server. So just because you're online, it doesn't matter. Even if you're not in that, and you've even said, I only want functional cookies, the functional cookies do track at least where did the traffic come from. So you see direct here. Organic search, it's Google. So Google's working. She's doing a good job aligning with what Google's looking for. Paid search is mostly Google. All right, so we can go down here. Unassigned, that's sometimes where people who have opted out, who've opted out with iOS, and they're coming in different ways. Again, it could be that they're coming in on our app too. So all of that, there's different ways that they're coming to our site, and they're not disclosing who they are. Organic shopping, if you've ever looked at Google and you looked at the shopping tab, so let's go to Google real quick, and we're going to just go holiday decor. This is organic shopping tab, and you can access and put your product here for free in the Merchant Center, and be available to Google Lens, which Google Lens is when we take photos with our camera and search by a photo. So you see a lot of that with Google Lens now. I mean, it's been happening for 7 years. We get about 12 billion searches a year for that, but it's also happening a lot with AI now. But see, so she's getting traffic from the organic shopping tab, which is a shopping price comparison built into Google. All right, so she's got that there. Let's see where else she is. She's got a good social though. Facebook is it. Instagram too. So if she only had time to spend on one social, I would say it'd be Meta, Facebook and Instagram, and then email. All right, so again, you can see here what's actually happening, and you can see whether or not that's actually converting to an action. How long, how many sessions, how many things are they doing when they're on the site? How long do they stay on the site? We do know the longer they stay on the site, the better, because now they're actually making some business decisions or decisions to part with their money or their valuable email address. And that engagement rate is really good. It shows that what she has on her pages is something interesting to people. Nothing worse than looking at an engagement rate that's like 1 or 2%. because that means whatever you delivered to them, you might have gotten them excited on socials, but when you brought them to your site, it was a disconnect and wasn't what they were imagining it should be. Okay. When you says organic, will it tell you which keywords they use to find you? Yes, you can go looking at keywords here, or you can actually look. One of the best places I like to look at keywords, Michelle, is in Google Search Console. I know we're not talking about that today, but if you have Google Analytics attached to your site, Google Analytics is telling you about how people behave and consume information on your site. Google Search Console is telling you how the search engine sees it and how the search engine tracks what people are searching for and what words they're using. So in this case, I'm going to go to her Google Search Console. Let me see, it's right over here. And what I would do is I would actually look at the full performance report, and her average position is 18.6, so I'd advise her to do things to get her in the top 10. But you can see here, these are the words that people are using. I know that's really small when I'm broadcasting. Let me make that a little bit bigger. But you can see these are the words that people are searching for. These are the clicks, and this is the position she's at in Google for those words. She's got okay click-through rate on this one, black and white ornaments, not as good click-through rates, but she's at 7. So, as long as you're in the top 10, you're under great consideration, and because people trust that you're an actual site and viable vendor. Okay, so you can take a look at this. You can see what words are working. You can see what pages are doing the best for you, where you show up in search, what discoveries, and then you can also go down here to links to see who's referring business to you. So if you're going to do Google Analytics, Google Analytics and Google Search Console really go hand in hand when you're trying to make good business decisions. Okay. Does that help, or have I fully confused everybody yet? I didn't want to get too advanced, but I did want to show you some of the things that you would actually start looking at to help make those decisions. Okay. Again, I didn't want to be confusing. Perfect, Michelle. Thank you. All right, what do people do on the site? Are they engaged? Are they looking around? We talked about stickiness already. How long did they spend there? Are they converting? Now, I talk about conversions a lot and people think that's purchase, but also a conversion is really a success action that happens on your site. So if you want them to leave their email address, to download a PDF and and fill out a contact form, if you want them to watch a video all the way to the end, that might be your conversion, right? That might be the success action. It doesn't necessarily mean an exchange of money, but it can depending on your business. And then what pages and what screens did they look at the most? Meaning what pages, did they really like that page of black and white decor? And screens, did they do that on their tablet more, or were they more on their iOS, their iPhone? Okay. And then what are people buying? What are they buying? What's the monetization that's actually happening? So what purchasing? This is if you are actually doing purchasing on your site. You would look at the monetization report to see which products are performing best, which search and keywords are performing best too. And then how loyal are they returning? Because the language, the content that you provide on your site for somebody who's a returning customer compared to a new customer can be totally different, right? Yes, I do. I offer a whole class on Google Search Console, and so please do reach out to your Google partner that invited you. So yes, Jennifer, I do. And in fact, it's one of the most asked questions within our membership, because sometimes people just want me to walk them through exactly what they need to do, which is what I like to do sometimes, because they have a very specific question. They don't want to hear all about Google Search Console. They're in there going, okay, how do I know which links and who to reach out and stay connected with, because they're the ones referring the most traffic to me. How do I love on them so they'll send more traffic, and how do I find more like them? And then tech, what tech is your audience utilizing? Because you need to know as you're making decisions, is this, how does this look like on Android? How does this look like on iOS? If they're using a desktop, then their mobile experience may not be what you're focused on. But 84% of us go to mobile first when we want to know, go do or buy. So knowing that, is it mobile friendly? I looked at a beautiful site that was doing great on desktop. It was beautiful. But on mobile, this beautiful video slowed everything down. So they were losing over half of their traffic because it took more than 1.2 seconds to load on a mobile. It has to be within that time frame. We're not patient people. And once you start taking time to load, people leave you right away and they don't come back. It doesn't matter how amazing you were on any of your socials. Now, one of the best things that can happen here Oh, you're welcome, Sean. You're welcome. So how, and feel free. Sean's a member, so that's why I didn't plant him here. I didn't even talk to you, Sean. But feel free to ask me in the membership. That's what I'm looking for, because when people ask me, then I can do those walkthroughs. I don't want to just do walkthroughs that are just what if situations. Whatever you're struggling with right now, show me, and I'll walk you through it if I can help. If not, I'll go find the answer. So how the search box works. So if you look at Google Analytics, there's a search box there. So we've all heard about AI. There is artificial intelligence, and now there's analytics intelligence, right? So as you look here, you can now search for things where you didn't have that ability before. You had to know how to segment and to be able to filter and to be able to put all of these things like you just saw me do, filtering for traffic, medium, source, all of that. Now you can start asking that right there in that box. Why? Because analytics or AI is in full play, and because you're a busy business owner. It is important that you stay profitable. You do not have time to go search around and customize reports. So we want to make it easy for you to find things. You can find out more of how to use this by using that blue link at the very left-hand corner. We dive a little bit more to that into the second part of this, which is really making sure we streamline how we handle analytics and make those business decisions. But you can see that you can get answers fast here. So let me see if I can give you a live demo again. I love live demos as opposed to slides, just because it's it is really hard to sometimes see in slides what somebody means if you don't have the reference. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. Oops. There, where was it? Right here. Okay, so we're right here. And if I wanted to look at demographic details, I could click here, and it's telling me the demographic details by country of people here. So let's say I would like to know click-through rate. Okay, so it'll talk about that. It'll give me a little bit through of what I need to look for, and it'll help me help guide me. So you see this comes up and it helps guide you through it. So you actually have an actual guide built within your Google Analytics, and you can use it right here, just like you would a Google search bar. You would use it here. You would look at engagement rate. And it does give me the engagement rate is fixed 56.74. Now, if I want to copy and send that to somebody that I'm working with, like the CEO or the spouse, because my spouse may be the boss of me, then I would go ahead and put that in there and do that. You could copy that. And then you can also change the date range by going up here. And let's say you want to look for the last calendar year. So you want to take a look at that completely 2023. You can look at that, have all that together, and then you can see the engagement rate. Let me get out of that one and do it again. Oh, engagement rate. There we go. And you can see it's still bringing just to that. So I would probably want to go in and utilize these audience reports then to see even better what that looked like over the time period that I was looking at. And I can bring up different rows to take a look at too and customize those, okay? I can also add the comparison. And then what's nice is you can click here on Insights to see what you may be looking at and not know what you're looking at. So this is a great explanation. When you click on this little thing right here that looks like a graph, click on Insights, and it'll do a little bit more explanation about what you're looking at and what Google Analytics is actually seeing to help you make those better business decisions. Okay? All right, you guys, I know that we are 4 minutes till the end of the hour, so I want to make sure that I am giving you some time to ask some questions. But before we finish up, take a look at Custom Insights, okay? You all have a copy of this. Let me drop that again so you have that, because it will be gone at the top of the hour, and then you'll be emailed this as well as a copy of the recording, okay? Coaches, again, I have trouble speaking and typing, but you can see in-depth explorations there. So that's some of the what you're looking at, Eric, with some of the segmentation. I'm sorry we didn't do a deeper dive on it, but you can see that you can even segment in your ask on what you ask in the search bar. So for even Ricky, going back to them, they did those SMART goals. They looked at those 3 cities, and they decided to keep their marketing focus on 2 cities. Okay. All right. Now with Google Ads, what I like to do here, just like you heard Michelle or Sean about why you need to use Google Search Console and Google Analytics together, I also like to do this with Google Ads, and this is why. Google Ads has a keyword planner in it. I love to look at that because it's got the best keyword planner on the planet, and it can give me exactly the keywords and the volume that people are looking at and the cost if I do an ad, the cost per click. But if I connect all these together, Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and Google Ads. Now it teaches ads by linking that together, so I'm not wasting time on my theories. It's actually learning from people consuming information on my site and the way the search engine sees me. It also is low-hanging SEO because I know that when you connect Google tools, Google trusts its own tools, and whatever Google is confident in and trusts, that's what it brings up to the top of the search. So when you've got Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and Google Ads all talking to each other and powerfully saying the same thing about your business and the kind of business you do, now that's powerful low-hanging search engine optimization because it gives confidence to the search engine. It believes in its own tools, and now it believes that your information is accurate. All right. So as you look here, these might be any of the 4 next steps that you need to do. If you need to, it will come to the email address that you signed up with, Caroline. And if you didn't get last recording, were you in the session? Because it does go out to people that were in the session. I just want to make sure, but it goes to the email that you actually recorded with, or that you actually registered with, sorry. All right. So I'd love to hear what is it that you're going to apply. All right. Let me know in there. You're going to do Google keywords. Eric, perfect. Reach out to these Google partners because they are there for you. They're more than one person. I'm just one, but they have a whole team as well as local resources. Do business locally as much as you can, everybody. I love when we can support our friends, neighbors, and community. Okay, so these are your local partners. Perfect. Okay, Caroline, make sure you email me so we can get you that. It may not be available readily, but let me see if we can get it. And my assistant, Brittany, will help you with that. If I've been helpful to you, if this has been good information, I'm going to model what I teach people, which is when you've given good information, product, or service, ask for a review. People don't have to feel obligated at all, but you need to at least ask. And this is a nice, easy way to get there. And this is actually my Google business profile where you'd actually leave this. Okay. If you want to connect with me on socials and just have a virtual gift dance because you applied what you learned, I love to do that too. Use this bit.ly link, bit.ly/findmaria. You can have all my socials there. Choose the one that you like the most and I'll connect with you there. Okay? Perfect. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. All right, let's go to Q&A. We do have just a minute left and I will end up, feel free to leave now if you need to, but I try to stay a little bit afterwards just to make